Hello, my super scientists. Today what we're going to talk about is how can we communicate scientific information. There's a couple of different ways that we can do that, but one of them is through a process called CER. And in a CER is an abbreviation for claim evidence reasoning. And this is a format that we can use to write about science. After we have done research, whether it's an experiment that we've conducted or whether it's an experiment that we've read somebody else's, we can write a CER, which allows us to kind of pull everything together, to take all the data that you found in your research and organize it in a way that it makes sense. So the first thing we start with is our claim. Notice our C here and CER. And this is straightforward. It is essentially the answer to the question that you started with. Remember, we start with questions. We ask questions when we do science. We're curious. So we ask a question. Our claim is our answer to this. And it's really important here that it be one sentence. We're really just talking about one sentence that says, I observed this when. I compared X and Y. I noticed that. Those are what we're getting at. One sentence saying this is the answer to the question. This is the conclusion that I came up with. Then there's our evidence, our E in CER. Our evidence is really important that we use observable data, right? We have to be really specific and use numbers, measurements, results that you get in an experiment in order to provide evidence for why you're making the claim that you're making. So we should, in our evidence, actually be citing the data, going back to the data based upon whatever data point it is. I think this is the case. Then we have our reasoning. This is the R, our final letter in our CER, and this is where we tie everything together. Why? Why is this claim valid? Why does the evidence support the claim? You say it does, but why? Here is the why that is the case. We're actually including scientific information, right? We're not worried about feelings. Like, we're actually using scientific principles and data that supports this claim. This is going to be more in depth, right? Notice all of these stems that we could use for our reasoning are more extensive, multiple sentences, because we're citing different things. We can use this little checklist here to kind of put together, see, okay, how is our CER doing? Does it answer the question? Is it only answering one question? Is it more than a yes or no, right? So don't just say yes because, right? That's not a CER. And is it a complete sentence? Boom, there's our checklist for C. With our evidence, is it relevant? Does it matter? Does it support the claim? Is there an actual good reasoning here, or are we using feelings? Are we really going back to the data? And is it specific? Is it specific enough to actually say, oh, okay, this is evidence? And then our reasoning. Let's double check. Is our reasoning solid? Well, is there a justification? Is it not just repeating, right? We don't just want to repeat the evidence. We already said that, right? We just don't want to do it again. And do we actually see a visible link between those two things? Are there actual scientific principles that are supported that we're talking about? And another component here, complete sentence says, notice plural, right? It's going to take more than one sentence to truly pull together that reasoning. So let's do a little example together. All right, so say this is my claim. The best hip hop artist is Jay-Z. I could pull sort of two different arguments. Argument A here. Jay-Z is the best hip-hop artist because his songs such as 99 Problems and Young Forever sound really cool and have a good beat. His wardrobe is lit, and he always looks and sounds amazing when he performs live. I could listen to his music all day and never get sick of it. Or you've got argument B over here. Jay-Z is the best hip-hop artist because he has more money and more awards than any other hip-hop artist to date. He has 14 #1 albums, which is the record for a solo artist, has sold more than 100 million records, and he has received 21 Grammys for his work. Based on the evidence, we can conclude that many people think his work is incredible. Both good arguments. Let's look at sort of the pros, right? In argument A, it's really passionate, there's feelings, it's really relatable, right? We're using words like lit, okay? So there's a relatable component to things. It's very conversational. Whereas argument B is really citing some facts. We're pulling out information. It's very logical, very reasonable, well-informed, right? Whoever's putting this together has actually looked up these numbers. And the thing that's neat about it is, it's actually written with CER components in mind. So if we look at it a little further here, sorry guys, trying to get my colors here. If we look at it, argument B, Jay-Z is the best hip-hop artist. Here is our claim. Jay-Z is the best hip-hop artist because he has more money and more awards than any other hip-hop artist to date. He has 14 #1 albums, which is the record for a solo artist, has sold more than 100 million records, and he has received 21 Grammy Awards for his work. Whoa, this is a whole lot of evidence. We have really cited a whole bunch of evidence here. There's multiple pieces of evidence that we're using. And then look at this nice little sentence stem. Based on the evidence, we can conclude many people think his work is incredible. So here is our reasoning. Here is the why. Here is our way of sort of tying all of this together. This is why this supports this. Here we are, right? So our claim, our evidence, and our reasoning. So summarize, wrap it all up. We're going to state our opinion. Boom. This is your claim. You're going to provide 2 to 3 facts or examples that are evidence that support your claim. And then we're going to tie it all together. The how your facts or examples help support that your opinion is correct. So that's going to be your explanation. So let's try it out.